Early this morning on the corner of Wall and Broad Streets, all seemed quiet. In cities and towns, children rise for school, people head to work, economies come to life. When the sun rises across the planet, the engines of capitalism start to turn. Much of the fuel for those engines, billions in invested capital, enters the financial ecosystem on our trading floor and through our network built and refined over 2 centuries. The result is progress, a story renewed every day when our bell rings. Fields are harvested, cars are assembled, buildings rise skyward, planes take flight. Technology dreams, from California to China and points in between, are born in a million different ways. Every innovative idea in the imagination of the human brain builds its support with investment waged on how dreamers can change the world. It started small, 24 brokers setting our standards for how stocks can be exchanged. It's grown through highs and lows, reborn with each new wave of enlightenment. Now part of a global trading and data powerhouse, the pillars still stand, a beacon for those with brilliance and determination, and the traders making the modern markets. You stand in the footsteps of giants, where history is rewritten with each new assembly on our podium. They gather not to recycle the past, but to reimagine the future. A bright day lies ahead. A new chapter takes shape with each share passing through our pipes. Welcome to Wall Street. Welcome to New York City, the world's financial capital. Welcome to the New York Stock Exchange.
Good afternoon from the New York Stock Exchange. My name is Chris Taylor, head of listings here at the NYSE. On behalf of Stacey Cunningham, president of the New York Stock Exchange, and all of my colleagues at the NYSE, it is my pleasure and privilege to ring the closing bell with Sempra Energy. Today's bell is part of the NYSE's gratitude campaign. It's our small way of saying thank you to the employees at our more than 2,200 listed companies who are doing selfless and dedicated work during difficult times. The work that Sempra Energy has done, not only through a global pandemic, but through natural disasters that have impacted so many of your core markets, is something that we need to recognize and celebrate. Sempra is part of the NYSE community of companies. We call it the greatest community of companies in the world. It's 2,200 companies strong, worth more than $28 trillion in market cap. It's because of companies like Sempra, we call it the greatest community of companies in the world. So thank you for everything that you do every single day, but particularly in times like this. Thank you for getting up in the morning, going to work, providing those essential services that we sometimes take for granted. Today, we do not take them for granted, we celebrate it. So thank you. I will see you shortly on the podium to close our market at 4 p.m. And I'll now turn it over to your chairman and chief executive officer, Jeffrey Martin. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Team Sempra. Today, I'm really excited. I'm being joined by employees from across the Sempra Energy family of companies to be recognized by New York Stock Exchange's Gratitude Campaign. Let me start by thanking NYSE's president, Stacey Cunningham. It's truly a high honor to ring the New York Stock Exchange's closing bell, and it's all because of the amazing contributions of all of our employees. At our company, we have set out to develop leaders at every level of the organization, and today, I could not be more proud of all of you. We have 7 employees representing Sempra in each of our operating companies who will be joining me to ring the closing bell. These employees represent all of our 18,000 employees who have been working tirelessly to provide essential services to our communities throughout the challenges of this current pandemic. Please join me in recognizing Victoria Campuzano with IEnova, Brandon Dixon with SoCalGas, Tony Flores with Encore, Jamie Gray with Sempra LNG, Mimi Liu with Sempra Energy, Andy Miller with Pice, and DeShonda Taylor with SDG&E. We are so proud of each of you. The areas where we operate as a company, California, Texas, Louisiana, and Mexico, have all been hit really hard by the pandemic. by wildfires in the West, and by the recent hurricane activity all along the Gulf Coast. Many of our fellow Americans have really suffered a lot. And through it all, I have seen so many of our employees shine bright Sempra blue by displaying great leadership, by displaying great empathy and generosity to others, and by displaying an unwavering commitment to the health and safety of our communities, even under the most difficult of circumstances. Every day, I see you do the right thing, champion people, and shape a brighter future. You actually bring our values to life through your heartfelt actions in the service of others. That's why, on behalf of your senior leadership team and Sempra Energy's board of directors, I want to be sure to thank every one of you for helping build a wonderful company, one that's truly dedicated to delivering energy with purpose.
This year has brought many new challenges. We're all navigating situations we've never encountered before.
While some of those challenges are universal, others are unique to each individual. Everyone's situation is different.
Not two people are experiencing the same thing.
But each of you, in your own way, have continued tapping into the source of strength that unites us, our values. We do the right thing, we champion people, and we shape the future.
While our current situation is unique, we've been through other natural and economic disasters before. We have plenty of experience.
We have business continuation plans and backup plans. But most importantly, we have you.
You are our most important asset.
Simply put, thank you.
En pocas palabras, muchas gracias.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Gracias por todo.
Thank you for all that you do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for everything you do.
We are so proud of the way that you have supported our companies and our communities. You have given so much. We are inspired.
Every day, you bring innovation, creativity, and dedication to your work.
You collaborate and persevere to keep delivering energy to our consumers throughout North America. And you make a difference.
You've given your time, energy, and hard-earned dollars to support others. The ways in which you've supported our communities are meaningful. Be proud. Your generosity is shaping the future.
As we move forward, the ways we live, work, and communicate may be a bit different.
But by staying true to our values and focused on our mission, we remain resilient. We are stronger today than we were yesterday, and thanks to you, we'll be even stronger tomorrow.
Good afternoon, Team Sempra. We are counting down to that closing bell, and on any given day, it's the single most viewed news event in the world. My name's Ryan Green, and I will be your host this afternoon. Thank you, Jeffrey. Thank you, Chris. But an exciting afternoon and a heartfelt thank you to all 18,000 of you to get everyone through this difficult time. As a Southern California native and currently in Santa Barbara, I want to say thank you as well. And I know that we're going global here this afternoon. So it's a great way to shine a great light on Sempra Energy. You are delivering energy with purpose for millions of individuals. We are honored to have you part of the NYSE community. And I'm joined by my colleague, Pete Ash. We're going to walk a little bit through how Sempra fits into that overall continuum of greatness here at the NYSE. Pete, we're getting ready for that closing bell. We're joined by all 18,000 of Sempra employees. It's an absolutely astonishing afternoon.
Definitely, and in your time zone for once. Usually we're talking to you when it's early in the morning for an opening bell. But yeah, it's an amazing thing, and as you said, that history going back, not just with the New York Stock Exchange, but even with Sempra and the predecessor companies that helped bring it to where it came today.
And to get to this point, in 2020 during a global pandemic, it takes each and every one of that 18,000 and that longevity of continual innovation. Staying true to those core values day in and day out, not making excuses, rolling up their sleeves and getting it done. That is what it's all about. And Pete, when we take a quick look back at that overall history of the NYSE, we are right there alongside our great issuers. It's about delivering and innovating, and Sempra is a perfect example of continuing to innovate throughout their longevity as a company.
Exactly. So that opening video we saw touched a little bit on, started small with 24 traders under a tree. And that's not a myth. That's how we started, with 24 traders. And the early companies listed on New York Stock Exchange were a lot of the financial companies that helped build it. But then the real core of the New York Stock Exchange picks up in the 1800s with the introduction of all these infrastructure companies, and many of them being gas, utility, providing the utilities needed for to raise the quality of living in this country. And, when I'm thinking about, Sempra in particular, back in the 1886 with the Pacific Lighting Company founding, we have these companies that are finding new innovations and then realizing that the next step is to bring it to the public. And so whether that's by listing stock on the New York Stock Exchange, raising capital and being able to expand your business, or running pipelines. In preparation for today, I went back into the archives. I'm going to get the history from me. I'm the historian. Went back in the archives, and I actually found a map from the early 1920s that the New York Stock Exchange had received of what is today SoCal Gas, and back then was SoCal Gas. And this idea that these companies, this longevity going back that far, really doing what they've been doing, adding the technology to do it better, but still at the core, whether it's helping investors raise capital or helping power and heat the homes of the populace. It's just ongoing throughout time, and just adding technology and improving.
Pete, I'm glad you mentioned that, because, now in contemporary times, in 2020, we take for granted a lot of those things. But when you look at the richness and the depth of Sempra, and the numbers speak for themselves, you are positively impacting the lives of millions of people day in and day out. And there are not many companies that can say that. And along the way, able to come together as a company and deliver in tough times. I mean, that's what it's all about. That's really the emphasis of the gratitude campaign here, Pete, at the NYSE, is recognizing our great issuers for what they're doing for the broader communities. And Sempra fits perfectly within that. And what better way to highlight the great work from everyone than by bringing a contingent of those different members from the various teams that represent Sempra Energy, by ringing that closing bell. And now, no pressure for them. They'll only be viewed by, a couple 100 million people this afternoon.
Well, I'm sure they're used to the pressure environment. But yeah, it's an amazing thing that Sempra's doing for their employees, highlighting the people out there, literally on the streets, making sure that the power runs, that the utilities are safe. And I'm here safe on the East Coast, so. With the wildfires and everything going on, it's an amazing moment. And so, we'll see that in a couple minutes. And once again, going back to the idea of, the New York Stock Exchange bell, it's been there since 1903. We've been ringing it regularly for that whole time. But what we're going to see today is adding a little more innovation. When you see, how are we going to ring that bell? How do we bring the people to the New York Stock Exchange? A little bit different than it was in 1903, a little bit different than it was in 2018. And even very different from 1998 when Sempra first formed from the merging of Pacific Enterprise and Innova. So, just ongoing the innovation, but at the heart of it, whether New York Stock Exchange or Sempra, it's the people driving it, and the people there day in, day out, making sure that the quality of service is there, that the progress is there. And it's great to see a little bit of time taken to acknowledge that.
Pete, I'm glad you brought up the similarities, that emphasis of humans and technology coming together so that they can change the world. And that's exactly what we're here celebrating with Sempra this afternoon, delivering energy with a purpose, all 18,000 to get to that point, and to accomplish so much in such difficult time. It's not easy. And I keep reiterating this point, not making excuses, but rolling up their sleeves and getting it done, because you're providing those essential services during a time when people need you most. And who's there day in and day out to deliver that? Each and every one of you. Sempra, you guys showed up, you delivered, and that's what we're here celebrating. And it takes each and every one of you, that commitment to excellence, that commitment to staying true to that core of delivering energy with purpose. That's what it's all about. So we're honored to have you here today. We're getting ready for that bell. And Pete, I'm glad that you brought in the difference between how we're ringing this bell. I mean, that's another iteration of continual advancement and improvement. We look towards our issuers to see what they're doing, and we evolve right alongside them. So we're virtually bringing in members on to the Bell Podium here from Sempra Energy. So it's a pretty special afternoon here, Pete.
100% special afternoon, and you also touched on that, the idea of seeing what our listed companies are doing and cherry picking the innovations we like. So whether it's using the technology to get some people from across the world internationally up onto that Bell Podium, or change trading from a couple hundred people yelling at each other on a street corner to a global market across the world. And one before we head over the bell, is a fun fact for you, is that the first predecessor company that was listed on New York Stock Exchange listed 70 years and 1 day before Sempra did. And here's the closing bell.
So guys, congratulations on behalf of the New York Stock Exchange. It's an honor to count Sempra among the greatest community of companies on earth. Thank you again to each and every one of you for helping deliver to those who need it most. I'm Ryan Green, and I'm joined by my colleague here, Pete Ash.
Thanks so much.
Take care, guys.
New York Stock Exchange has had years and years of supporting incredible startup companies like Virgin Galactic.
We chose the NYSE because it's a place where iconic companies are born in the company of giants.
Being associated with an institution that goes back further than Levi's is special. This is where this company deserves to be.
The New York Stock Exchange is the place to be. If it was just all digital, you wouldn't feel it. But you feel it here. You feel that the stock market's more than just numbers and trades. It's actually people.